another section of Roar the Ganges. This is written by Swami Tadatmananda, who, as his name implies, is a Swami, which is a kind of monk. There are Catholic monks, and there are Buddhist monks, and there are Jain monks. A Swami is a kind of Hindu monk. So, most of this book was preparing for him to become a Swami. Before he was a Swami, he was someone not so different than you and I. He was born in America and was a computer scientist and even was married to his high school sweetheart. But after he discovered that his happiness was not found in either of those places, he went on a bit of a spiritual search, and it has ultimately culminated in his initiation into the Saraswati order, a very ancient lineage of Hindu monks who renounce the world, the material existence, and dedicate their life to a spiritual pursuit, which is very interesting. This chapter is called Surfing the Infinite Ocean. We gathered for satsang, spiritual gathering, with Swami Dayananda just after class. This would be our last opportunity before his departure in the afternoon. All ashram residents and guests crowded near, even our guru. Sorry, not our guru. Swami Dayananda is the guru. This is a different Swami. Swami Sudhananda, who had set aside his work. No one spoke for a few minutes. It seemed as though we were all savoring these last minutes with our guru. The ashram was like an extended family, with Swami Dayananda as its grandfatherly patriarch. His arrival here a few days ago was joyously celebrated, and his absence would be deeply felt. Swami Dayananda chatted merrily about his plans to fly to Coimbatore via Bombay before inviting questions about the morning class. Our British friend Richard, full of queries as always, asked, "Swamiji, last night you explained that Ishvara, God, is both the intelligence and the material because of which everything exists. Then in this morning's class, you said that Brahman is the absolute truth, the reality underlying everything, even Ishvara. Now I am confused. What is the difference between the two?" Good question. What is the difference between God and the absolute truth? Or what is their relationship? A mischievous grin came to Swami Dayananda's lips. In answer to Richard's question, he began to narrate a wonderful story that illustrates the relationship between Brahman and Ishvara. This story he had elsewhere described as his favorite tale. On the sparkling surface of the blue-gray ocean near Northern California coastline, a wave skimmed along under the midday sun. The placid wave enjoyed riding the currents and chatting with nearby waves as she cruised across the vast sea. One day, she spied something strange and menacing in the distance. A dark streak appeared on the horizon, where before she had seen only water without end. Soon, the muted shapes of craggy bluffs and stands of Monterey pines came into view on the shoreline stretching out ahead. The wave had never seen land before. She stared at the rugged coast, transfixed by a peculiar mixture of fascination and fear. As she watched, wave after wave rushed towards the shore and dashed upon the rocks, leaving only wisps of white foam to wash up on the beach. Her fear turned to horror when she realized that she, together with all the other waves, was destined to die in the crashing surf ahead. Terrified, she struggled with all her might to turn around and swim back towards the open sea, but it was no use. She was soon exhausted by her futile attempt and bobbed helplessly in the water as the relentless current pushed her closer and closer to the deadly rocks. Nearby were other waves which, to her amazement, seemed happy and unconcerned. She wondered if they had not yet seen the coastline ahead. She called out, "Hey, don't you see the shore? Aren't you afraid of dying?" "Oh, don't worry about the shore," a foolhardy wave replied. "It's so very far away. Besides, there's nothing you can do. You might as well forget about it and enjoy life while you can." This advice seemed foolish to her. The shore was fast approaching, and death was certain. How could these waves be so naive, so carefree even in the face of death? She wondered. Then she noticed their stained expressions and nervous laughs. She began to suspect that they too were fearful, but were trying hard not to think about the menacing shoreline ahead. They sought only to distract themselves, to hide from this grisly truth, but she could not subscribe to their delusion. "I wish I could pretend all is well," she thought, "but I can't shut away the awful truth from my mind as they try to do. Besides, they can't hide from the truth much longer." Fighting off despair and panic, she wondered if anyone had discovered a way to avoid dying on the rocks. She began to ask other waves whether they knew any solution to this deadly dilemma. Most thought she was foolish. "Be practical," they said. "You must learn to accept your fate, however dreadful it is." Desperately seeking help, she continued inquiring until she spotted a group of waves bowed in prayer. She approached them respectively and asked, "Can you save me?" A solemn wave paused to address her. "O pitiful wave, you must live a pious and prayerful life. Then, after you die, you will go to the glorious great ocean and enjoy eternal bliss." "How can I know for certain I will go there?" she asked. "If you believe what we believe," said the solemn wave, "if you follow our practices and embrace our doctrines, then you will certainly reach the great ocean." Other groups of pious waves also congregated in the ocean. Some sang and chanted, some performed elaborate rituals. All of them were determined to reach the great ocean, and each group was convinced that theirs was the only way to get there. The anxious wave, who sought to find some kind of aid or hope, found only confusion. "I want to be saved," she lamented. "I want to go to the great ocean when I die, but I don't know what to believe. What is the true way to get there?" She began to cry. The sight of the nearby shore filled her with fear. Time was running out. A wise old wave, traveling from a faraway sea, happened to observe her anguish. The old wave looked at her, not with pity, but with compassion and understanding. When she spotted the wise old wave, she noticed his peaceful expression and felt the contentment he somehow radiated, even in the face of death. "Are you not afraid of dying?" she asked. "No," he said calmly. "Don't you see that we will soon be thrown upon the rocks and die on the shore ahead?" "Yes, I see," he replied. "Then do you believe you will go to the great ocean after you die?" Maybe not." Mystified by his evasiveness, she asked, "Then what do you believe?" "Nothing." "Then why aren't you afraid of dying?" "Because I know I will not die." Bewildered, she screamed, "Are you crazy? Of course you will die. We will all die. No one can survive the rocky shore ahead." "Yes, that is true. All waves will certainly die on the shore," he said calmly. "Then you too will die," she insisted. "I will not die because I am not a wave." She began to wonder if the old wave was crazy. "You certainly look like a wave," she said sarcastically. "Yes, what you see is a wave, but there is more to you and me than waves generally think." "What do you mean?" The old wave did not answer immediately. He paused to consider whether further discussion might cause her even more frustration and confusion. Then he recalled his own desperation before meeting the revered one, who so lovingly imparted the ancient wisdom to him. What if that wave had refused to teach him? Then the old wave began to explain, slowly and deliberately. Waves are born. They live for some time, and when they reach the shore, they die. This is an undeniable fact about our lives, yet it is not the whole truth. You say you are a wave, but are you not also water? Clearly, you are both wave and water. But which is the true you, your true self? He continued, "When you were born, you were a mere wavelet. Now you are a full-grown wave. The wavelet and the wave are completely different, yet both are you. As a wavelet, you were water. Now also, you are water. In spite of your constantly changing form, you have always been water. Your essential nature, your true self, is water alone." "But," she interjected, "even if I am water, I am still going to die." The old wave smiled reassuringly. "As you swelled from a tiny wavelet to your present size, the water, which is your essence, never changed. First you were water in the form of a wavelet. Now you are water in the form of a full-grown wave. Even before you were born from the ocean, the water you are already existed. And when your present form is destroyed on the shore, as water, you will continue to exist, utterly unchanged." The old wave recalled a favorite verse often quoted by his master and recited it with a strange but captivating melody. Water was not born, nor will it ever die. It does not come into or go out of existence. Unborn, eternal, undecaying, and ancient, when waves are destroyed, it perishes not. So, my dear one, you were never born, nor will you ever die, because you are water. What difference does it make whether your present form as a wave survives or not? She reflected on the old wave's teachings. They seemed to resonate within. Somehow their truth seemed obvious, self-evident. Then, a cloud of doubt swept over her when she remembered her conversation with the pious wave. "What about the great ocean?" she asked. "How do I get there?" "Water," the wise old wave replied, "is the essence of you, of me, and of every wave in the ocean. Water pervades all. The great ocean, too, must certainly be pervaded by water. And the same water that pervades all, including the great ocean, is the water that is your essence. You need not go to the great ocean, because it is already within you." These words stunned her like thunderclaps. She realized how misdirected her search had been. What she sought so desperately was already within her. All along, the seeker was the sought. Her fear and anxiety vanished. A peaceful stillness filled her completely. She surveyed the ocean and saw only water, in so many forms, large and small. She studied the old wave, who had so patiently helped her, and realized that she was the same water as he. On the rocks of the California coastline, under the clear blue sky, the wave was shattered into thousands of tiny droplets soaring high into the air, all brilliantly reflecting the sun as they fell in a graceful arc and disappeared into the pebbled beach. In the crashing surf, the wave surrendered her waveness, but remained forever as the water pervading all. Thank you for listening. A lovely story. And we may continue reading Roar the Ganges at a later time. You're very welcome, Daninsky. And I'm glad you liked the story, Brandon. And Dansuela. I agree. It was a beautiful and incredible analogy. Very happy you all enjoyed it. Om Namah Shivaya, says Chloe Evans. A good mantra, that is. And thank you to those who sent a gift whilst I was reading. I hope you allow me the honor of extending my best wishes back to you, now that I have a full moment